And I watched an episode with you and Will Sasso.
The Will one, I really wanted him to do impressions, and he was so not willing to do them.
Really?
Yeah, he was so not willing. And I guess, like, you know, you don't want to do impressions, and then you got some guy like, do Arnold.
There's always a nice sun.
Yeah. So I closed some, and I'm going to close more if it's in your way. You know, when I first set up, the sun was on that side.
It moved. That son of a bitch. That son of. We're already cooking, dude. We're already cooking. I hope this is rolling.
Oh, there's your baby.
He's a good boy.
Oh, yes, he's the best boy. So where do we think we need it close to? Let's try.
If you pull this one.
Oh, you think it's here?
Yeah, it's right here. I can see it.
Oh.
I'll tell you how I'm getting hit. And it's right here. It's right. You need me to move?
Oh, no way, dude. You're the guest.
Oh, dude.
I'll just jump over everything.
That's very polite of you.
All right, let's see here.
That's very polite of you.
Oh, it's right in the corner, huh?
Yeah, but look at that. I mean, come on.
Is that doing it?
To have a one-on-one with Ziggy like this.
Wiggy
Wiggy
Stardust.
Oh, that's fun.
No, it's not. It's just Wiggy.
I thought, do you hit it with...
Whoa!
Let me shoot. We're just hanging out. We talk about sweaters, winter looks, winter don'ts, winter do's.
Sad
treats. What's in them? What's actually in treats?
I like to get my treats the same way I like to buy potato chips. Very little ingredients and zero vegetable oils.
That's smart. Wiggy, that's a good owner. I don't ever look. And my dog doesn't look at their food either. Her food. She's going through a thing.
Changing?
She's just, she's finding herself. She's 4. It's like 28 in dog years.
Yeah, I thought the dog was transitioning.
Maybe. And that's okay if she is.
I think so.
I'm fine with trans dogs. Very little opinion. Very little heat. I feel like he's upset by it, though.
So, Dan?
Yes.
Dan, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Or, technically, this episode is one of the many TYSO podcasts. So, I took an edible already.
How big of an edible did you take?
It's personal.
Okay.
But it is Kiva brand. Now, I am plugging them because they're almost all I use.
Oh, wow.
And I've been using them for years on the podcast. They recently started sponsoring. They're not sponsoring this episode.
That's awesome.
But I just like, hey, I'm selling. I'd be promoting these things even if they weren't paying me, and they're not.
I thought they were.
Well, they have.
They have.
And they may again.
They will again. If this is a natural plug, and if I work for Kiva, I'm giving you more money.
This episode is sponsored by Magic Mind. Helps you have a sharper mind, steady energy, and less stress. And it is my pleasure to introduce the animator for the Take Your Shoes Off podcast, Tom. Welcome, Tom.
Hi.
Tom, are you a little stressed?
Yeah.
Tom just flew in from England. How are your arms?
Tired.
Get 20% off at magicmind.com/TYSO and use code TYSO20. That's magicmind.com/TYSO, code TYSO20. Let's try one of these babies, huh? Yeah, well, listen, I'm just looking for them to give people more smiles and to make their food taste just a little bit better.
I get it.
But you aren't taking edibles. You're not an edible brat.
I take edibles at night at home when I want to go to sleep.
Right.
That puts me down.
That's when people usually listen to this podcast.
I love it.
But you brought some weed.
I did. I brought my favorite weed. I brought you my favorite weed. Are you going to smoke?
I don't smoke anymore.
Okay.
I love it. It hurts my throat.
I get
but
that.
being around it sometimes for a special occasion, maybe I'll go like this.
But you're not taking a hit.
No. And if we weren't on the podcast, I'd ask you to blow it out the window. Like it affects me a little bit.
Do
But
you
I
not want
miss
me to
it.
smoke in front of you?
No, I asked you to bring it.
In my apartment, my fiance and I blow it out the window.
Maybe we'll do that.
And
Also,
I would respect your lady's place.
yeah.
And of course, Sweet Wiggy.
Well, I don't believe. So I grew up learning that my dad used to, what's it called? Is it shotgun?
Yeah.
His doggy, his Dalmatian, and would get him stoned all the time.
Dalmatians aren't they already a little fucking nuts?
That's again, I try not to talk about other people, even dogs.
Well, I mean, dogs, I don't know if there really is. I mean, Wiggy's so nice.
Yeah. So what were you saying?
But Dalmatians are a little, so I don't know about blowing.
What's
weed
interesting is a Dalmatian is one of the few dogs I feel like you could get away with saying that.
Smoke. Yeah, it really is. You're not like, German Shepherds are fucking nuts.
Well, I mean,
Chihuahua's a lot of depression.
half Chihuahua,
He walked away.
half Jack Russell Terrier. Come here, sweetheart.
Do you think he was upset that I said that?
No, I think, I'll be honest, and I could say this, I think he loves me so much.
That's awesome. It's a great feeling.
But no, Dalmatians, both black and white is why I say that.
Oh.
German Shepherd is just German.
Yeah.
Apparently Shepherd.
Yeah. Well, I don't really see much of the shepherd, but your dad used to just shotgun weed into your Dalmatian's face.
Well, this was before I was around.
So he calmed down once you showed up.
Well, that dog died when I was a baby.
Oh, man.
I think it's a coincidence. It was probably just at a certain age.
Or were they making room for you?
Well, my grandma stole the dog. So the dog lived at my grandma's place. My mom said that was okay because she thought the dog was racist.
Wait, your mom thought the dog was racist?
Yeah. Let me ask her about it, actually.
Towards who?
German Shepherds.
Germans? Austria-Hungary? Any of those places?
Let's see. I'd like to get my mom on the pod. Help plug her point of view.
Yeah, that's great. Plugging POVs it's very important. Look at this guy. He's got the sweater.
Yeah. Is Wiggy in frame? Could you see? Did I go low enough? I think so.
I think so, yeah. I think he's just putting on a snuggle clinic.
Remind me to call my mom later because calls out aren't working at the moment.
Huh.
But let's get this show on the road, though. Why don't you like? Also, YouTube has been really saying, you know what, Rick, this video is flagged a lot these
Really?
days. Oh yeah.
I've been hearing that from a lot of people.
So I think it might not be a bad idea to. No, you can still blow in here, but
Yeah, I'll blow it out the window, but I will show you. This is from.
But even this, I feel like the showing. So we're gonna blur the weed.
Oh wow!
We're gonna blur the weed.
This is legal. This is like aspirin.
I also do this with women's feet. When
That's very nice of you.
yeah. Well, because I charge them on my Patreon.
There you go. Do you want me to take my socks off and see who's a real scumbag out there?
No. So what's your favorite weed that you want to tell us about? Also, every time we say weed, including that time, let's dub it over with what's a word
Bong noise.
No, but what's a word we could call it? Like a secret word.
We used to call it like when you used to call drug dealers, you'd say socks. You'd say like, "Do you have any socks?" That's like what you used to say on the phone.
Okay, so we said socks.
Were you ever big into weed?
Sure,
I don't believe you,
dude. I'm a big stoner. So we could use socks. When one of the times that he said it, or we have a few different variations.
I think you should go with a bong noise, like
No, because then people are going to think that it's an alien.
Why would they think it's an alien?
In Aliens, the surface alien effect is a bong rip.
You're fucking with me.
Mm-hmm.
You are fucking with me.
Mm-mm.
I didn't realize the level of difficulty of doing a weed episode with you is. I didn't understand that it was going to be like, oh, let's take Rick and turn it up to elite difficulty.
Well, have you ever
I'm
played
trying to
Guitar
fall-
Hero?
Yeah.
Is playing on beginner fun?
Yeah, because you rip.
Oh, well, I also rip on expert.
You do? Were you really good at Guitar Hero?
I mean, I beat it on expert, but I wasn't
You
like
beat
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
Every song.
Yeah.
I tried buying
1 and 2 and 3, maybe. I don't remember. Whatever stopped after PS2.
Oh, okay. I tried buying it for Xbox 360, but all the controllers, now that it's old, they don't like fix them.
Yeah, that's why. Because when I got PS3, even 4, I don't have 5 now. I don't really play games anymore, but I've saved my 2 in case I ever want to go back to my Guitar Hero.
Fun.
Yeah.
I did that with Xbox 360. I saved that so I could play NCAA college football whenever I wanted.
You can't play that on any ROMs or anything?
They stopped making that game in 2014. So it's coming back next year, though.
Oh, interesting. Coincidence? Obama's last midterm?
I didn't even think of that. You just blew my mind. I loaded a bowl of Golden Goat strain from Green Solutions. It's in a black bag now, but it came in like a nice...
What is Green Solutions?
It's a
Are we just
dispensary.
plugging weed stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I
guess.
thought that was cool. But they're a dispensary in Colorado.
Oh,
And I bought...
Colorado, your hometown, your home club.
Yeah, I was just there. And I bought some of my favorite weed, and I brought it back with me.
I'm looking forward to smelling it.
So your dad's been smoking weed your whole life?
Oh, my dad's a huge pot smoker.
I always think that makes the best parents. My parents were alcoholics.
Yeah, that's
Horrible for parenting.
Yeah.
But when you have a pothead parent, they listen. The food's going to be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be as freaked out by lightning and stuff like that as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance to bond.
Yeah.
Man, that must have been... Did you ever know when your dad was high when you were younger?
No, but you just made me think of with the lightning thing that like getting high is kind of like becoming a dog. You just always want treats. You scat a lot of noises.
You nap like a son of a bitch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right.
Extra cute.
I want to lick my own ass most of the time I'm high.
Yeah.
No, it really, you like, when you watch dogs like randomly itch something with a back like that.
Uh-huh.
That's how I am when I'm high. I'm like, oh, why is my arm itch?
Do you get paranoid when you're high?
Yeah.
I don't, and I think that's because one of my parents smoked weed. I think isn't there something with a derivative of paranoid arriving from parentoid, which was when you were some type of a species derived from the correlations of octave dilation?
That is so many words that I love that you just tossed them out.
Thanks, man.
You were just grabbing them and throwing them.
Much like what we do with a dog.
Is play fetch.
Wiggy, go get your toy. Get your toy.
Get your toy, dude. No.
After I say we can get your toy, cut to the white, we're just going to animate. Just take him. Doesn't have to be great. It can be very South Park choppy. To somewhere off screen and comes back with Wiggy, get your toy. Good boy. What is that? What is that? Laugh. I guess we better get high.
Let's do it. Let's suit up. How long does it take an edible to hit you?
Well, I took it over an hour ago, and I don't feel too high, but I'm pretty lightweight with drugs. Coffee, I get a small iced black coffee. I'll drink it for 3 days.
Yeah, that's a big coffee, but that is my all day coffee.
So weed, 5 milligrams gets me stoned. I took a little over 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I take 20 to go to bed.
I understand. I'm more sensitive.
Yeah, you are.
LA
Yes, you
comics.
Are. All they are is about the business. 5 milligrams. Here we are. New York comics. That's where it is.
Yeah.
40 milligrams. A hard street living. Where do you want me to blow it out?
You could do it here.
Dude.
Really, you can.
All right. How do the windows work here? All right, so like a little push.
You know what? Well, I'll go over here with you, but I'll stand near you because I want to get a little taste. This is the Golden Goat.
Let me help to check you.
All right.
Yeah, as I get older, I like to take 1 or 2 hits. I don't need a ton.
Wiggy. Oh, is this scaring you? There you go. Who's your baby?
Damn. What a sweet boy.
Yeah.
What a sweet, tiny boy.
Yeah.
My dog would be running all over this place.
Well, your dog's been doing it longer.
She's younger.
But she's been around comedians more.
Yes, she has. She spent a lot of time around comedians. She was a booker at San Jose Improv.
No shit.
Yeah. Just features. She didn't do headliners.
Oh, they have a feature booker and a headline booker?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It makes it easier. Book the locals, people working there. So a lot of people in the Bay Area and South that have a problem with Myrtle.
Like Florida Beach?
No, my dog Myrtle. Because she was booking the features.
Why'd she stop?
I don't know. She doesn't really talk about it.
Did she obey all the comedy laws?
I think so.
Well, she made some money. You need somebody to put a roof over your head.
I love it. Keep going, dude. Don't ever stop at the dog puns.
I think just those.
So with your dad being a pothead, you weren't...
I didn't know until I was...
How'd you find out?
I saw something in his car. I asked my brother's friend.
Did you never smell it?
I didn't know what stuff was. I'm what's the word when like you just when you're a kid and you just believe stuff? Not gullible. That's naive.
Yeah, I was very naive. I was naive and gullible.
Deadly combination.
Yeah, I should have been molested. I could have been if a predator. If I would have fallen in the path of a predator, I would have been easy prey. Mm-hmm. Because I'm also a people pleaser.
Right.
But,
so you would know how to make him come.
Oh, so fast. Or her. A lady? Dude, grown lady takes this on? Good job.
What do you mean?
Just because isn't that kind of cooler than a dude?
You know, that was the point of view I know in the 90s and the early 2000s, but I think
I'm stuck.
Well, I do.
Well, I'm stuck there.
Okay.
Because a little boy having sex with a grown lady, if I'm the little boy, pretty cool.
But you don't know what it's like to be a grown lady. I do.
That is very... You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I apologize.
I'm not offended.
Okay. But that's got to be... I mean, yeah, it's gross for a grown lady. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we can't all be priests with a collar around our neck.
I mean, that's just a feeder, you know? That's just down... They're just waiting at the end of the... There's just a fucking... A ramp to... Priests...
Oh, I was just doing collar on the dog puns.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah.
What a treat it is to be able to...
Just dog puns.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even a pun. What a treat it is. Like, that's just using the word.
But it's a dog reference.
Reference.
I love it and I hate it at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Is there anything else you could explain what you love and hate at the same time?
Showers.
Go on.
I love taking them, but I don't like the time it takes to take them.
That's how I feel about poops.
Okay.
Showers, however, I feel like when I'm in the shower, I'm happy to be there. But getting me in there is a real chore.
Yes. And when you're done, like the drying and the deodorant and the clothes back on. It's like, what the
I appreciate that point of view while not sharing it.
Okay. And I think that's a very...
It's my mom.
Yeah. Pick it up.
Hi, Mom.
I was in the elevator. I'm sorry. I was just leaving my first therapy session.
Oh, good. Well, we'll edit that out. I'm really glad. I'm going to call you right back. I'm doing something on the podcast.
Oh, you're on a podcast? Well, that's okay if that's on a podcast, because I'm proud of it. It was the best hour ever.
I am very glad that that this happened. This has been something that we've been talking about off.
Yeah,
off
I mean,
the record
God,
for
you know, you go
bit.
your whole life and talking to a stranger who was just like a cool chick, and it was just like I felt like a sneeze that hadn't come out in a million years, and it sneezed out. Oh my God, I feel like I wish my ass was smaller because I feel like I've lost 100 pounds.
Oh.
Yeah, this was so much fun. All right, I'm sorry. This is your podcast. Who are you with? I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I think that's great. I'm very pro therapy. I had a great session yesterday.
Did you? Who are you?
My name's Dan Soder.
Hi, it's nice to meet you,
Nice to
Dan.
meet you
I
too,
am a
Mrs.
woman who is
Glassman.
now psychoanalyzed.
I'll tell you, it's the brain gym. There's going to be days you don't want to go, but every week if you go, you get something out of it.
Yeah, well, this was really
Yeah, it's really
enlightening.
good.
I just think everybody should go just to babble on about stuff that you don't even
You know what?
even
I phrased therapy one time to my good friend Big J Okerson. I explained it's like untangling the cords behind a TV.
Oh my God, that should be a quote that is put in school books. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You're untangling those cords behind the television and getting it all organized, and they're there doing what they're supposed to do, what they've been doing, but now they make sense and you know where each one leads.
That's exactly
Oh
it.
God, this is even better than the therapy session. See, this is great.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I got to tell you something. Even if a person doesn't have a lot of issues, which thankful I don't have a lot of issues. I just think talking to somebody that's not in your world,
Yep.
somebody that's not going to be on your side, just know you, somebody who can be impartial. It's just it was like a spiritual awakening.
You know, I always say I think everybody should go to therapy, and everybody who works at any position in a restaurant should know what it's like to be a food runner and a host.
I agree.
I've always said that everybody should know what everybody's job, what everybody's job is. If you start in a job, you should know what it's like to be in the mailroom.
She would say this to me all the time.
Work your way up.
Just what she
Work
just
your
said.
way up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you should just know what that other person is doing so that you're in their shoes. You get it.
My mother always used to say, no matter what you do in this world, there'll always be someone better at it. So that was...
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of...
And they're the person that you want to walk behind so you can learn from.
But I don't understand how that's possible, because I've never met a better mommy than my mommy.
Oh, honey. Well, I bet your dad's mommy.
For all the times you stood by me, for all the truths that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrongs that you made right, you gave me dreams
when I feel down. Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Well, I'm sorry to take up half of your podcast.
You're the best mommy in the world, not just because I love you.
I love you. Oh, thank you, Celine.
Mom, was Banaka racist?
Oh my God, he was the worst dog on the planet. He hated children and black people. It was terrible. He chased after
I said, was he
them in the
racist? Not was he like everybody else in this fucking town?
Oh!
No, he was a racist dog who hated children too.
Was it just black people, or was it also...
And white kids.
White kids.
How old did a white kid need to turn before the dog started liking this white kid?
Was it voting age?
You had to be an adult for the dog.
So if you're a black 8-year-old or a white 8-year-old, Banaka hated you. But by the time that 8-year-old turned 20, Banaka likes the white one, but still doesn't like the black one.
I don't understand it. I just know that.
Was this really tested?
Well, it was tested when he got loose out of my house, and the only people he ever chased was the black people in the neighborhood.
Well, don't you think they were maybe the dog was just picking the people that were running the fastest?
A challenge.
People weren't running the fastest. They were standing there like normal people, just doing what they were doing.
Which they are. Black people are normal people. Mom, I know that.
I'm just saying they weren't running or anything. They were just standing, doing what people do.
Didn't Dad used to blow weed into Banaka's face?
Yes,
Banaka Buzz, right?
Banaka Buzz, yeah. My mother-in-law loved that dog more than she loved anybody, and she would take it, and he had to wear a diaper because he pooped everywhere. So she'd put the diaper on him and then put him in the car and take him for Dairy Queen.
Wiggy, Wiggy, Wiggy,
That's terrific. That's great. I'm imagining that on this podcast we're going to be seeing duty flying everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, we are.
All right. Well, listen, you go back to your podcast. Was there anything else you wanted to ask me? Or was it just about Banaka?
Yeah, one more question. You know how when I was younger, I didn't have friends, so now whenever anybody is my friend, you thank them for being friends with me? Will you do that to Dan?
Dan, thank you so much for being Ricky's friend.
Yeah, absolutely, Mrs. Glassman.
You could call me Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie.
But please stay friends with Ricky. I want to make sure that when he has birthday parties, he's got people to include and invite.
That's a good mom. That's a good mom.
And,
only the best.
And he's only really a fabulous person. Don't ask to share his Chinese food, but anything else.
Won't I get him his own? Won't I get him his own?
But he will. I even actually said that in therapy today. I just said that,
really?
Talking about my children, and I said, Ricky, people could think he's selfish because he doesn't want to share his Chinese food, but he's generous enough to offer to buy you anything you want from the Chinese restaurant.
Is that particular with food, would you say?
I think you're kind of like that with almost anything and everything. But if somebody needs something bad enough, you will let them have it, and you'll be very generous. But what's yours and what you're using...
if it's something that is mine, I don't want anybody touching it. That is true.
Right. Fine. Yeah, that's okay. That's who it is. That's who you are, and it is what it is.
Well, you have gone... Mom, I am so proud of you.
I'm in therapy now.
All right. I love you. Talk to you later. Oh, is there anything you want to plug? Any dates?
Any what?
Anything you want to plug?
No, nothing I want to... Oh, Marshall Carpet. I mean, that's it.
He's got the shirt on.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right. Talk to you later.
I love you guys.
All
Bye.
right, bye.
Your mom is lovely.
Best mom I've ever known.
Yeah.
And I've known a lot of moms, and I've even known a lot of motherfuckers.
Come on, dude.
In this business we're in, I mean that as not literally.
It's cutthroat. It's cutthroat business. Wiggy, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
All right.
Oh. Wiggy ask, how are you?
How are you?
I'm a little high. Pretty good. Got a coffee.
I want to be higher.
You don't smoke.
No.
And if you eat too much edibles, it gets real bad.
Last night I was high. I did an episode with Jay Cohen, who is a Jewish, I guess I'll call him a chef, but he he just came out with his second bestseller New York Times cookbook, which interestingly I learned after we stopped recording because I asked, what does that mean? Getting on the best. Are you competing? Is it a certain amount of numbers, or is it just the competition of what's out that week or month?
Yeah.
And he said both, which to me just means a competition, I guess.
Yeah.
And he said, and it's difficult for cookbooks because cookbooks are also categorized in the same category as self-help books, which makes me think of kind of like if there's no comedy section for the Grammys, we'd be competing against, Kiss or Jethro Tull.
That would be weird to go against something that you're like, but we don't even do the same thing.
Right.
I would be mad if I released a cookbook and then like the new Chicken Soup for the Soul came out. Right. You'd be like, fuck. I had so many good recipes.
But cooking is self-help. But so is laughing.
Yeah, sure. I guess. I don't know. I don't think that's true.
If the money were right, would you want to do a show with me where you and I live in a studio apartment together for 6 months and there's hidden cameras and real cameras that aren't hidden, and it's the sweet life of Dan and Rick?
I would have taken that 7 years ago.
Right. What if it paid for the 6 months net pre-tax $3 million?
Yes.
I have a proposition for you. Unrelated to that. How would you feel about me getting you a glass of water? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm good with this.
So I was a little stoned last night, and I got home and I got back here and I was just like, I didn't know what it was, but I felt myself. Here's an analogy. I was looking for an emotion, a feeling, and the analogy is, I don't know what I want to eat, but I have a bit of a sweet tooth.
That's how I feel every night.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that every night. I smoke weed every night though, but every night.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, I bought these kind of healthy fruit roll-ups.
You mean fruit roll-ups? Fruit's in the name.
Yeah, but you listen.
I look
all
at
the
ingredients.
Research, yeah, you look at
I look at ingredients.
This is actually, it's good stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's called Pure Organics Fruit Rolls. Check them out. Fruit Organics, let's talk.
Well, let's put up the ingredient list here. I don't see it now, but I am curious what kind of, if it has any hydrogenated oils or...
Oh my God, it probably does.
It's got some xanthium gum, which I don't really understand, but I'll eat it.
Gum?
I'll eat it. I think I've just decided xanthium gum I'll do.
What is it?
But
I'm gonna look at. I want.
While you look it up, I'll finish saying, is it antidote? I got back and I wanted a little bit of laughter, and I called Santino, and we just talked for like 15 minutes, and we were going back and forth. But sometimes I would say, "Tell me a joke," and then you would do it, and I'd be like, "But do it with this voice."
That's
and he would just keep doing it, and I was like, "It's how cool is it? Like, how lucky are we that we have friends where we could just be like." Make me feel great but I'll give you the menu of what you could cook.
Yeah, it is
crazy.
It's what's nuts about it is you can call the funniest people.
Yeah.
Joe List said that once. He was like, "We're friends with the funniest people in the world," and I was like, "I don't know about that."
I've said that for years.
And then he like broke it down for me, and I was like, "All right." So I have the ingredients here.
Okay. Read them in a second. The reason I brought that up is because I'm feeling the kind of like, I think I want to ask you to do certain things for me, and but not in a sexual way, in a way where like, I guess that sounds a little bit more controlling. What I meant was I want to do a little bit of improv, but I want to hear tons of voices.
Okay.
But read me the ingredients.
Okay. Do you want the ingredients maybe in a voice?
Yes.
Now hold on, because you're the internet.
Ellen Page.
I don't know if I can do that voice.
I figured. I wouldn't know if it said on my face.
But you saw, I actually, thought about it. Yeah, the internet's not.
Which is something that doesn't really happen too much with a freeze pipe unless you leave it out for a couple hours. Or should I say thaw about it? Maybe trim some of the fat in between, but keep the whole joke? Or
yeah, keep the whole fucking thing in there. What voice should we do the ingredients?
Could I ask you to have dialects?
Yes.
Are you good with dialects?
Some.
So one of the ones I asked Andrew to do, if I could hear the difference between his Chinese and his Japanese.
You really put your friends in. I mean, that was off podcast. This is on a podcast, right?
What's wrong with that?
I think they get mad at white dudes doing other voices.
Oh, if they get mad, they'll be fine with it 30 minutes later.
But the dialect is, the Japanese is slower.
Right.
So my Japanese is just Trey Parker's Japanese from South Park.
I thought you meant Trey Parker from the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. No. From South Park.
Right.
But his is Bundaroo. It's I feel high and with a camera in my face.
Is it bad to do this?
I don't know. I'm just high right now.
I don't understand. I do understand.
It was easier on the bonfire because we didn't have cameras in our faces all the time.
Right, because you're sponsored by the dark fucking web.
Yes. Chinese higher, Japanese lower. All right, I think that worked. Where are these fucking ingredients?
All right, what's it called? I'll look it up.
It's called Pure Organic.
Pure Organic
Layered Fruit Bars.
Layered Fruit Bars. All right, so there's Amazon. And we are going to...
But you won't find the...
it doesn't have the back of it
all
on
it
there?
says is gluten-free.
Okay, Pure Organic. They have their values. Let me read their values real quick.
Sure.
We're big on real... Why don't you read their values to us?
I would love to.
As a Japanese man.
As a Japanese man?
Who knows his English.
We are big on the real over here. Real food, real cream, real... I mean...
that doesn't sound like Japanese.
Let's switch it up. Give me something else.
Chinese.
Son of a bitch. We real big... No, yeah, you know what? Give me something else.
Australian Hulk.
Australia, or Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Or the Incredible Hulk.
Hogan.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, brother. We're real big over here. Real food, real clean, real delicious, real easy. That just happens to be our values. You know what? I'm high enough that I'm not feeling the Australian either.
That's fine. Why don't you just do anything? You're
No.
so good. Okay, you can talk in your regular voice. Isn't it true that you were that until you didn't move to the States until you were 6 and you were born in Essex?
Yeah.
And you kind of like fought that.
Oh, I was, bruv. You know, here's the thing about being high. Getting high in real time on the show instead of getting high and then starting the show where I'm already rolling is I'm going up.
So the transition is confusing you?
So I'm realizing that I was like, I go to like, oh, what's up, bruv? And then I'm just like, ow, because I'm like, you know, in the end of Terminator 2 with the T-1000s like morphing into different things.
How could you know what that movie meant to me? So yes, I remember.
You remember that?
I even sent Robert Patrick something to sign. I was just trying to get everything I could out of that fucking film.
Really?
Do you remember when you could get celebrities' addresses so
Yeah.
they send you a headshot that's signed or something?
Yeah.
You know, some people write to Santa Claus.
You write
I
to
wrote to the
Robert
guy that plays Santa Claus, Will Ferrell.
But you how many? No, did you really write something to Will Ferrell?
No, I was thinking and that he was an elf anyway. No, but I used to write. There was like a book. I don't remember. I think it was a book. It was like a book of like, you want to get a headshot signed? Here's the addresses that you mail to people. And I was like a kid, and I would mail to like celebrities that I liked. It was mostly Arnold Schwarzenegger all the time.
Did you get anything back from Arnold?
No.
What about?
Well, I got so much from Arnold, which is what he's giving all of us, which is just unbelievable charisma and talent.
Yeah, and entertainment.
Yeah.
Did he Robert
Patrick?
I always wanted to say the guy from
Pattinson.
Twilight.
Yeah.
But did he ever send you back anything?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't remember even mailing it to him, but I do remember thinking, I have a memory of like seeing what a Robert Patrick headshot looked like, and I wanted it signed, but I don't remember if I wrote him.
We're real big on the real over here. Real food, real clean, real delicious, and real easy.
Can I hear you do a Schwarzenegger?
Of course. We're real big on it. These happen to be our values too. Learn more about them. What's real? Real food. When it comes to real, we don't mess around. It's a subpar. It's not as good as like a Sasso's Schwarzenegger's.
Sasso won't ever do it for me.
It's fucking unbelievable.
And
his Hogan and his Schwarzenegger.
They're incredible. So there's some beef between Sasso and me.
Why? Sasso rules.
Some big beef.
What happened?
You excited for this? I hear good things. Tom. Are you doing is that a comedy routine? Is that really how long it took you to drink that?
That's how long it took me to drink that.
Man, the English, huh? Bring this a little closer. Now, while we're waiting for this to kick in, I want to let you know that if you don't love that and if you don't love it, they will refund your money, no questions asked. If you say, I want my money back, that means they're not even going to say why. They're going to be like, yep, Tom, I'm going to give you one to say. Discover clean energy without the crash or jitters. Say goodbye to excessive caffeine.
Oh, that's a lot.
Maybe we'll wait until this takes effect.
Discover clean energy without the crash and jitters. Say goodbye to excessive caffeine.
This stuff kicked in fast, huh?
So fast. What was that, like 10 minutes?
10 to 15 minutes, you start to feel it, yeah.
Amazing.
How are your arms?
Not so tired.
I like that. I like that, Tom. So they require rigorous testing of every ingredient sent to them. Also, I got to say, the ingredients, they're all just like vitamin stuff that I've taken before. It's just a formulation that's put together.
Well, there's got to be a ton of stuff in there. What's in it?
Organic matcha, green tea, filtered water, organic grade matcha, organic agave, passion fruit, natural vanilla. I really like the feeling I have, and it really did take maybe 10 minutes.
Shoot, was I supposed to be talking in a British accent the whole time?
I didn't notice. Let me hear you read some of the other ingredients.
Well, obviously, there's organic olive oil. There's organic ashwagandha.
Tell me something. You were a little bit stressed. You were a little bit not so sharp of mind. How do you feel now?
Well, I feel the vitamins have really worked for me.
You want to try some? Head on over to magicmind.com/TYSO and use code TYSO20 for 20% off your entire order.
That's magicmind.com/TYSO using the code TYSO20 for 20% off.
You do have a sharp mind. He came on my podcast and he wasn't in the mood to do impressions.
Okay.
I'm okay. Like, if you didn't do them, I wasn't like dance for me. I was just like wanting him to do them. And his back was hurting. And, and he wasn't in the mood and I was fine. But then he goes, then he starts doing them. But he's either doing the wrong impression or doing it bad on purpose.
So he was taking a dive.
Yes.
To make you look bad.
I don't think it was to make me look bad. I think it was because I do think there was something about him being like pushing my buttons.
Yeah.
Which is fine to do.
Sure.
But I talked about it on another podcast with Kyle Dunnigan.
Sure.
But I talked to Will before I put it out because I left him a voicemail and I said, hey man, I did this on the podcast.
Which is that's you covering yourself.
Yeah.
Leaving the voicemail.
And
you're letting him know it's coming out.
And I said, I'll send you a clip if you want. He goes, it's totally fine. Don't worry.
Then you're clear of all.
But he even said to me on the phone, he goes, and you're right, by the way, I was in a mood and I just was, I should have just said no. And I know you gave me the opportunity.
Well, that seems to me like it's all cleared up. How is that? That's all, everything's sorted out. What's the problem?
I don't have a problem with him not doing impressions. I just wanted him to be able to tell me so I wouldn't keep asking. He then he takes that clip.
We had a very open dialogue about it. We had a very open dialogue about how I was getting high. Maybe not that comfortable with the Japanese voice. The Australian and the English were bleeding together. I understood that.
So here it is.
Will, you went on Rick Glassman's podcast, Take Your Shoes Off,
so this
on
is the
May
artificial
3rd,
intelligence.
2022, and he hasn't asked you back since. He recently said some astonishing things about your appearance last
and I
year
have
that
asked
might
him
shed
back
light on
2
why.
times.
You need to hear
and
this.
he didn't say no, but
I think a beef may be a brewing. This is Beef Boys.
He kept saying that maybe, was he like saying like, oh, I'll come on in a little? Or?
Yes.
All right.
So he wasn't
do you know about this? Did you see?
No, but he did. He
I
did
know that you went
suggest
on his
weeks, and then when I would follow up that week, I can't. And then another week.
It sounds like Dudesy saying it was May of last year.
Did you ever
remember
like just toss a date out and be like, here, well, then we'll just do
when he
that.
gave me the week, I said I'm literally free the entire week. He said,
Sort of. Whatever's going on,
that's not the
Rick,
point, though.
Rick Glassman, for those of you who don't, everybody, look, if you're a fan of podcasts,
Also,
in spite of myself, I'd like to say, check out Take Your Shoes Off Pod.
Sasso
great
is
podcast.
so
Rick
funny.
Glassman
And
is very
Chad and Will are so funny on Dudesy. And
subversive and
Dudesey's one of my favorite
abstract.
podcasts.
I watch the podcast. And if you
Brilliant,
don't watch
comedic
podcasts,
mind,
check out
in my
Dudesy. I
opinion.
don't have beef with Sasso. I have beef with.
I don't know that much about him. I've seen his
poor
podcast a couple of times.
communication.
I saw your episode. I've seen some other ones.
Leads to beef.
It's great. I do like it. He does some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
If you
Rick's
don't
great.
communicate, but it sounds like you try to communicate.
Sometimes I'm confused by my.
He's confused sometimes.
My pal Rick there, and so here's what I'd like to say. This is last week on Rick's show. He had the brilliant Kyle Dunnigan,
who, by the way, is so
funny
and
great
impressions.
Who does
unbelievable,
some incredible
Can I hear your Kyle
impersonations.
Trump?
And we know Kyle Dunnigan for that
very
reason,
good.
and his many talents.
Big.
Now,
It's very
Rick
big.
took an issue with me.
Money. That's pretty much it.
And my appearance on his show a year
his
and
Joe
a bit
Biden
ago,
is really good.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of confusing. And
So
I
he's
guess
saying
what
I took
Dudesey's
issue-
getting at here is a beef of some sort.
Well,
Yeah, this is
And I think podcast beef is so corny.
What else could this be?
It's
And
not,
so-
you don't feel it.
So he's
I
implying
actually
that
got
you
a
have
fair
beef
amount
with
of comments from people who
Yeah,
are
and
fans
it's
of mine
not
saying,
bogle
I can't believe you
beef
did that.
that
You
we're
never
talking
talk
about.
bad
See,
about
that's
other
the kind of
people.
fun
Yeah.
times
You
when
never
they
talk
have
about other
guests
people's business, and
on
I
the
don't.
program. No,
And I was out of
to put
line
it
by putting in,
plainly,
but
please.
I was really upset because
Rick
the studio I was
was
in
upset
was
that I
messing
didn't do an
everything
Arnold
up, and it's not that
Schwarzenegger
hard
on the show.
to turn a camera on,
which is
But-
odd because I
but
did
then,
do
but that's
it
why I told him
a
after,
bit,
and it was
I
he
was
said
a
it was
little
fine.
confused by it
Sure. Yeah, but
afterwards.
it
But
sounds
then
like
he sort of took matters into his own
communication is way
hands
off.
on this
And I don't
episode.
I don't want to do beef, but it's out
with,
there now.
with
it
Kyle
sounds like
Dunnigan.
it's growing.
And
It sounds like
I
the
don't
beef's
even know
getting
what the
cooked,
fuck
too.
I can say
Like
about
when
it.
you ask an impressionist
yeah.
to do it, they
Okay.
do
Oh,
it.
here we go.
So here I am.
I had Will Sasso on my podcast.
Who I've even told you is incredible.
Yes.
And I've broached this before,
Watch this,
but
Chad.
maybe
This
it's
is
because of the mood
fucking
I'm in. I
unbelievable.
haven't talked about this
And he's
publicly.
watch this.
He was such an asshole.
It's on the screen.
That's not fair. That's
no,
not
he
fair
was
at all.
such a he was such because
impressions, and I know
everything that's on
backwards,
the
but if you
podcast
know-
is in every
I
phone
asked him to
conversation
do
that we've
Arnold
had.
Schwarzenegger.
Sure. It's just
And, like,
you're just
he-
getting them a small little
He
sliver.
just wasn't doing
Yeah, but I
Yes, I was.
admit
And he
I've
was
never done this
shitty. You
before,
did
this.
and
Yeah,
I
did
shouldn't
fucking
I
suck.
shouldn't have. But with
I've
his
never even
permission,
heard of you
Either
having a
Will
problem
was
with
in
a
a bad
guest like
mood, or
this.
Will doesn't like.
Oh,
Rick.
I've had I have
Not
issues
true.
with
Not just
something
not true.
sometimes,
Will
but
didn't do
that's
that or
between me
whatever.
and the person or
He just
people,
wasn't
depending on how the
down
person
to
identifies.
play, and I
Some
just
people
thought it was
identify as a
annoying.
person.
And I like
Some
that
as
you're willing to do
people.
Arnold and stuff.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
It does
willing
sound
to
like
do it.
it was
And
just
this isn't
communication.
nice.
he could say no.
Kyle
but he's
Dunnigan's
saying-
being very
and then he's
diplomatic
waiting
Or
about
even
this.
explain it.
But
I mean,
watch
we were
Rick,
just
who,
sitting
by the
here
way, is out of
explaining.
focus. What is he doing? Look at this.
Yeah, the focus on this, by the way,
He's a shit disturber.
the focus on the episode that I recorded
What
here
killed
was
the dinosaurs? The
so
Ice
bad.
Age.
Yeah.
Literally, like
killed the
it was so
dinosaurs, the Ice
expensive.
Age.
Okay.
I kind
And
of I see
universe,
his point a little bit.
Only one
the fuck
episode.
It's not that hard.
Everything
Point.
freezes.
Yeah.
We're paying people to do a job.
Or you didn't
Do the job.
Do the job. Do it
Hey,
well.
Will Sasso.
And if you don't want to do the job, don't commit to it. And don't say you would, like he said he would.
You gotta-
fun.
you're not-
got me
Yes.
I don't know. Sometimes that just happens where people will get in situations and they don't want to do the thing that they kind of have made an agreement,
I had a good time.
an unspoken social agreement.
Okay, see,
We talked about
Kyle
it before,
Dunnigan's
and it
being
was
nice
something
about
I
this
wrote.
shit, but
I don't know,
honestly,
it took me 15,
first
20
of all,
minutes,
I'd
but
like
there's
to-
something I wrote
These
for
are the
him, and then he
people
wouldn't
I
do it.
published
Yeah, I mean,
But he
sounds-
told me to write
he
it.
sounds
Okay,
legitimate.
that might
angry.
be true.
It
That's a
sounds
shot
like he
fired.
might
Yeah,
have
that's a shot
actually
fired. By the way,
angry
this is
at
out of
me.
focus. It's not that hard.
Look at that.
And it's
Yeah.
really, it's not that hard to do a pod show that isn't. Oh, watch this. This is fucking unbelievable.
I left him a voicemail.
Hey, Will Sasso.
You're the
That's a job.
I said, Will,
You were doing
I
dog
have a
hunts.
funny
yeah.
comedian on Kyle Dunnigan
I mean,
who doesn't do
kibbles
the
and
best
bits
Arnold
all day.
impression. But watch what happens
good.
when I ask him
Thank
to
you.
do Arnold.
That's
Hey,
it.
do
That's all I
Arnold as
wanted.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Did y'all hear your Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, everyone cool off. It's time to tropic low and get frozen. Water.
Yeah, you see that? We're having a good time.
It's frozen.
So-
That's
I don't
funny.
think you can
Thank you for
do
doing that silly little thing.
So I'm confused.
And you could have
though.
said no.
I could have.
And they
What
go
do you
on for a
confuse?
while.
Did you?
I thought of saying
They go
no.
on for a while about it.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was worth acknowledging because I think I also guilty. They work voices are so funny to me. I love to hear them. And Will, like we talked about us doing that. I wrote bits for us to do,
Oh,
and
that's
then he
fun.
just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think sometimes doing voices, you like to do the bits yourself.
100%. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. But you just did Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, sure.
Why?
Because it's not, I think voices are silly. They're all silly.
Yeah. But this, it's much more complex than what meets the eye. It isn't about the impressions.
That's about what you say with them.
It's about the conversation before and after, and me asking permission if we could do this bit and before I wrote it, and he saying it's funny, and he pitched some of the ideas for it.
And there you
we
go.
do the
That's
bit,
a collaboration.
and then he wouldn't. But also, he could say, "I'm not in the mood. We'll do it another time." But then he's doing it, but not the way it was supposed to be, where it doesn't work. It's like, listen, then let's not do it. He goes, "No, it's okay. I'll do it." And I get it. You're poking fun a little bit, but at a certain point, if you need money, and I keep pulling the dollar away, and then I end up not doing it, and then later, whatever.
What would it take for you two to squash this beef?
I'm never going to have him back on my podcast.
Ever?
No.
Would you ever go on Dudesy?
No.
You're done with Will Sasso.
The only way I would ever have Will Sasso back on is if some people say when pigs could fly. You heard that saying?
Yeah.
Too easy. Until I get Schwarzenegger on my podcast and Schwarzenegger does an impression of Will Sasso so I could show him it's not that big of a deal.
So sick.
Then I'll have Will Sasso back on my podcast.
So sick. If Schwarzenegger did a good Will Sasso.
I think if just Schwarzenegger came on and just even said, I'm in Beverly Hills Ninja, that would be enough for me. I'm in Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are a big Schwarzenegger guy.
SCHWARZENEGGER. I'd like to see how many comedians know how to spell Schwarzenegger.
Did you love the Netflix documentary?
I liked it.
You didn't love it?
I liked it a lot.
Did you know all the stuff before?
I knew a lot of it, but I liked it.
Didn't love it.
I watched it with a group of people. We were a little stoned. We were out, like having a staycation with my lady and some of my buddies, and like I wasn't in the space for it.
Got it. That's how I watched the George Carlin documentary the first time. Just wasn't in the right space.
It was good the second time?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the first time it was when he was the weatherman.
Yeah.
It didn't get good until the second time when you really understood it.
Yes. Absolutely. You absolutely have to get Arnold on. He'll do it. He's promoting a lot of stuff.
I know he's working on his book about sell.
Yeah.
And
he seems like a guy now. We're at that point now where podcasts are the very famous understand its power. So you can, and you have a great podcast. So you could probably get,
thank you.
You could probably get Schwarzenegger on, probably get Stallone on.
I've tried to get both.
I bet you could get the whole Expendables.
I mean,
is Schwarzenegger your dream guest?
Well, my dream guest I had on, and I haven't posted it yet. Did I ever talk about? Well, I had Will Smith on.
You did.
Will Smith on a few years ago, and we got maybe 30 minutes, and we were going to do another one later, and we ended up never getting to it. And then will you, and then a different way than Will Sasso, because he doesn't keep saying yes. He just doesn't really respond that often. But every now and then, and we might be able to be filming the second part soon.
And then you're going to put it out where there's a 7-year jump?
Well, it was 2019, I think, 2018, 2019.
I mean, a whole pandemic.
Yeah, and some other stuff happened.
Yeah.
The Red Table came out, that show.
A book came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fail Forward.
Yes. And a new Dean Koontz.
What is that?
He's a writer.
I know the name Dean Koontz. Yeah. But I wouldn't know if he was a writer or if he was a pastry chef.
He's a horror writer.
Oh, did he write Living with My Mother-in-Law?
No, he didn't. He did not. This turned into an ASMR podcast.
Gulp, 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 gulp.
This feeling is an incredible feeling, but if I'm not doing bits and I'm on a podcast, I don't know what to say if I'm stoned.
When you're high? So you're getting there right now?
I'm at a place now where I need to either get into serious bits or a debate. And I think I just realized that about myself.
Do you need a debate or do serious bits? Or get into bits? It's bits. Let's go bits, dude.
Why do you think it's so important to do bits, though?
Because bits are what makes podcasts go faster and seem more fun.
Absolutely. But with all bits, you don't necessarily get anything that you could learn. And I do think that we have stuff.
But who's to say that learning is all you're supposed to get from bits? You're supposed to get laughter.
Debates
of bits. That was good. That was a bit.
Well, that's
The debate. Oh my God.
Wait, were we not on the same page? Did you not know that I was doing a debate on purpose as the bit?
Yeah.
You did, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
But
we're
then
on the same page here.
Yeah, we're on it.
My mind is blown when I find out that somebody's not on the same page with me for a bit. And
it still works?
No. Just like, wait a minute, are we not on the same? And people are like, wait, what are you talking about? Or why are you doing this? Or that was weird, or whatever the thing might be. Wait, did you not know that what the bit is? Oh, I figured you were probably joking, but I don't understand what. And then like I say, oh, I was just.
I go along with shit. I really am telling you, if like I should have been kidnapped, I would have gone along with it.
That's a
would have been like
great comedy partner though.
I think we should use improv to help kids who have been kidnapped regain their.
Right. Would you like this chocolate bar? Yes. And I would like you to leave me alone after I take it.
Yes. And who sent you? What's our safety word?
Well, in improv, you don't ask questions as much as you give answers.
Well, I've always thought improv sucked. So maybe that's not the way we go. You know what? Maybe we just no but. Maybe we just shut this whole fucking thing down.
No but actually is a good idea. Would you, like.
No cigarettes.
Well, if they say take this chocolate, no, but if you don't leave me alone, I'll call the police. And then if they end up taking the chocolate and they get in and they say, we're going to do something to you. And he goes, fine, but no but.
Because I said it originally.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we use improv people to teach the opposite of what they know to keep kids out of being kidnapped.
Maybe there's a correlation with improvising and being kidnapped.
Do you think improvisers steal kids?
Well, I think more so most improvisers were probably stolen at some point.
Do you think pedophiles have taken like a UCB course to get better at like getting kids?
Why are you smiling about that?
It's very funny to think about a guy in a members only jacket and clammy hands being like, it's doing a scene with like all these like young actors. And he's like, and they're like, why are you here, Charles? And he's like, just to get good at talking to younger people.
That voice is monstrous. What's his name?
That was nobody.
Yeah,
that was me.
That was
it's this guy.
It made me think of Silence of the Lambs.
Oh well, yeah, because my voice is deep, so I sound like the actor who I used to know forever. I forget what his name is. Ted. No.
That's a scary voice that you had. Do you ever do scary cartoons?
No, but that'd be very fun. God, my phone is. I've gotten like 20. I just got 20 missed calls.
Do you want to? Obviously, something is important. Do you want to take a moment and take care of this?
No, I'll call him back when we're done. I don't think it's important. I think my opener is sick, and he might not be able to.
Your feature?
Yeah.
Did your dog book him?
No, she only does the San Jose Improv. She doesn't do my road gigs. Ted. Fuck, what's his name? Ted Levine. Didn't even have to look it up. Doesn't count. He is Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and he was on the show Monk.
Can I hear the voice?
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me so hard. Word. Is she a gripping fat person?
You know, you also sound like what? What's his name? Stifler. What's the actor's name?
William Scott.
William Scott.
Two high guys trying to figure this out.
Scott Williams.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan, yes.
Scott Williams.
Sean William Scott. First base.
And that ain't a bit. Sean William Scott?
Yeah.
I've never gotten that before.
No. What he hears in old school.
Here he goes.
Or what he sounds like to Will Ferrell when he gets shot by the.
You got a fucking dirt in your neck. Yeah. He goes, what? You're crazy. Got a fucking dart in your neck. You're crazy, man. I like you, man.
You're crazy.
You're crazy. The funniest part's where he grabs the leash in case one of these little fuckers gets out of hand. What? That makes me laugh so hard every time.
There's a scene, I talked about this on a podcast once. There's a scene where Sean William Scott in American Pie says, I was going to look it up, but I don't know what I would even search. it's like a downbeat before the scene starts in the locker room.
Yeah.
So the directors obviously said, just say whatever, and then once they walk in, like, oh, you little fucker, what you doing? You know, like whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing that he said and that they used was, he's like, yeah, so I call her up and I'm like, what's your number? Oh, what's up, dude? And it's like, how could you call her without her number?
Yeah.
But that wasn't, I do not believe that was an intentional, it was just, he was just talking guy talk and he had two different things. And I think that's a funny thing of his.
When did you notice
Cut to a clip. My buddy John DeWalt and I were rewatching it, I don't know, within the past 8 years.
And you saw that and you're like, that makes no sense.
And we both saw that, we both laughed. Like, I never noticed this before.
That's very fun.
Yeah.
It's very fun to catch that. We're like, they didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
A mistake that lands on film.
Mm-hmm.
Always funny. Because there's so much preparation with film. They make sure they look at everything. And then when one tiny thing.
Like the Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Is that real?
I think so. Let's go to the clip.
Most people get bloody murdered.
Yep.
But I heard that it's not like when you, like I've rewatched the show and it's not in there. So they took it out.
Oh.
But, they just accidentally left it in for the live version. So I didn't see the live version, but it's tough to know if it was really there if I can't see it. But more than that, if so, was it really an accident or was it a ploy with Starbucks? And if it was a ploy with Starbucks, was it a ploy with Starbucks and a particular set designer or actor, or with the whole production?
Was HBO in bed with Starbucks, or was Starbucks in bed with the set designer that could put the cup? That's a genius conspiracy, but it is a conspiracy.
What's the guy's name who founded Starbucks again?
Roger Starbucks.
No.
Mikey Caffeine.
No.
Ron Latte.
Maybe.
Vincent Cappuccino.
Oh, that's not who I'm thinking of. It was right. It was
Billy Roasted Bean. Who is it?
So it's three people. The founders are Gordon Bowker Beans, Jerry Baldwin-Latte, and Zev Siegel on Ice.
Siegel on Ice, Siegel over Ice.
But that's not who I'm thinking of. It was somebody that used to work at Starbucks. He's got a great story, and then like he left and he started his own coffee company because they were just wanting to make coffee basically, but he wanted to be like a barista. And what would I type? Who made Starbucks popular? Like it was. I guess it would be the CEO. Howard Schultz is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Howard Schultz.
Now we're talking.
Schultz Bean.
Yeah. Yes.
So like could it be like just a big wig here and a big wig here? Like, let's see if we could get away with this.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that all the time. You've been on TV shows where they do product placement.
Yeah, but not.
Oh, but to make a controversy?
But not to make it a controversy, yeah.
They would never admit
like
it.
Starbucks didn't yet exist in the world of Game of Thrones. If ever, because it's not even the same universe.
Yeah.
Or at least not the same planet.
Yeah. You're getting into a Fermi paradox moment there. It's a different world with human-like beings, but it's not Earth. It's not the Earth that we know.
Right.
It's a different timeline.
So then if Starbucks was all of a sudden, it's not like if Starbucks was in like an episode of Modern Family.
It exists.
Right.
Even in an animated.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty, I bet Starbucks exists.
Right. That would make sense. But like if Rick and Morty from
Game of Thrones, you're right. It's such an opposite thing. How could it exist with dragons? There's coffee. There's probably coffee in the world of Game of Thrones, but there's not a brick and mortar store where you can go and give your whatever coins you have.
I don't think they ever had a scene with coffee in Game of Thrones.
No, only wine.
An ale.
An ale. A lot of booze. So there's big booze behind that.
Right. Interesting.
You got to start thinking, as big are the wineries behind.
Now, how would that translate? Once you see the Starbucks, what makes you think I got to go get a Merlot?
No, I'm saying not because of Starbucks. I'm saying maybe Starbucks got a little slice of the pie, but what if big wine was behind all of Game of Thrones? That way, when you see Peter Dinklage drinking a nice glass of red.
Peter Dinklage.
Boom.
Right. You know what? I'm in the mood for, right. I mean, I do know that now those blue-eyed Australian husky-looking dogs that are very popular now.
See?
That's because of the direwolves from Game of Thrones. And I do know, like, is that big breeders?
Sword replicas are up 400%.
I've been
jackets with fur.
Jackets with fur. I
over
could believe.
your shoulder,
like a like that looks like that pillow.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Give me 3 of those because of Game of Thrones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What else do you think has gone up? Fucking your brother and sister.
Gone through the roof.
I mean, look at what Pornhub has become with these stepbrother, stepsister categories.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing before Game of Thrones, at least not as big as that.
Yeah. Service animals. The crow. That was a service animal.
Yeah.
Dire wolves are service animals.
Yeah. Yeah, I could,
sure.
If this was a card game and that was the first card I pulled, I wouldn't be like, yes.
Yeah,
but like I could play it.
Build it.
You
could absolutely build on it.
Combo that along with your dire wolves.
Yes.
And just,
absolutely. This just goes, this is the tag.
And loyalty.
100%.
Like loyalty, that's been a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Now. Yeah. A lot of zombie movies. I don't think there was a zombie movie before Game of Thrones.
Ever. Blue zombies? Who does blue zombies?
No, they're always green and they always go brains.
Yeah, this one, they're
brains.
Like, this one, like, no, we're a little more cunning. We've been to the other side. We've came back. I think if you died and you came back, you'd be a little smarter than just
brains.
You're like,
brains.
Yeah. What are you, me in high school? Trying to get my dick sucked? Brains.
I just thought of something and it slipped my mind.
Can you find it? Is it
I think
gone?
so. But right before, I remember. Got it.
What is it?
How we think of zombies and mummies and werewolves and Dracula.
Monster. It's
Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the Universal Monsters are, right?
Yes, it's the classic ones.
We'll throw up the
Frankenstein,
picture.
Dracula,
From
Mummy,
the Universal Studios.
The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right.
Blue Lagoon. Black Lagoon?
I think they're trying to have a whole bunch of different lagoons now.
I think the Blue Lagoon's where the kids were banging. Black Lagoon's where the ugly monster came out.
Like with the scary voices.
Yeah.
But all of these monsters have been influenced by the real business, big studios.
Yes.
And all of the fears, the greatest story ever told was the devil who made people believe he didn't exist.
That was chilling.
The next one to come out are just the Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
2,000 years later, or if I were a dentist, I'd say 2,000 years later.
Fuck.
Depending on what time it is, of course.
You just can't turn it off, can you?
What time did we say we were going to meet?
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
2:30.
Oh, you might want to get that checked.
Oh, and you still did it. I was like, oh.
Like I said, I could turn it off or I could debate you or I could just listen. I'll listen for a little. You tell me things.
No. I'm listening. I'm hanging. Hear that? It's American made.
How could you tell?
Grew up.
Let me hear the difference between an American made motorcycle and a Japanese made motorcycle.
American made motorcycle.
Ooh.
Japanese motorcycle. See? It's right there.
I know that like, oh, don't do that because it's marginalized. I get it. And also, if I drew that card, I would take a deep sigh and be like, I could play it. But like, I don't want to.
No.
It's a funny sound, man.
It's all it is. It's all pops and buzzes.
It's all pops and buzzes, dude.
It's all just pops and buzzes.
There's a woman on this season of the Great British Baking Show. Do you watch that show?
No.
Love. Whom is, she sounds just like Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's funny.
And it's so funny, that voice.
Hello! That one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's like, it's funny, but like, that's okay. But that's because she's white. And I get it. But funny voices.
I would love to see a lot more Asian, Black, and Hispanic people doing white accents.
They have a ton of that over in Japan.
I would love to see a Japanese guy nailing a Scottish accent.
I got to show you something. If I could find it. I think I sent it to my mom on Instagram. It's from whatever the generation, 40s, 50s, something.
Yeah.
And it's in Italy, this is what like music was crossing over and blah, blah, blah. And American music was popular. And this person did a song because American,
I think I've seen
you know
this.
what I'm talking about?
And it's like a song about nothing in English.
It sounds like if you don't speak the language, it sounds.
Yeah, it was like a hit in Italy,
yeah.
but in English, it just means nothing.
Yeah, here it is. they stop it because I don't know if it gets flagged.
Yeah. Yeah, you just make up stuff.
I did a bit. I've been thinking about reposting on my main channel. Maybe I will now. I did
Drop it.
Maybe 2009. It was just in the belly room of the Comedy Store where I did 10 minutes of that.
That's
for stand-up. But I'm really good at it.
At doing what?
At saying stuff where it takes people a little bit of time to realize I'm not saying anything.
Oh, wow.
And I've actually wanted to do a full podcast with somebody where that's what it is.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, examples are simple. You have a ball in your hand, right? And you push it around, you're throwing it, and things are good until like you don't have enough time to pass it through. Like speaking of this, let me hear.
Yeah, speaking into this.
Yeah, the volume is, if capitulation happens up, but people are paying attention to what we could hear when we're watching it versus if you can't see it, it doesn't even, does it exist?
Yeah.
You know?
Going left in a situation where down can get flipped.
Now, maybe I'm high and crazy and wrong here, but I feel like what you did was there was a difference to it.
There was.
Because what you did was
pure nonsense.
A saying that doesn't make sense, but it's still like you said something that wasn't true.
True.
But you could follow it. Like, oh, he was talking about trees, then you'd be like, oh, if you could add context to it, the harder it would be to add context to it.
Oh.
While still being believable. My sister was visiting from big picture. It's not about me. It's just she's,
yeah. But if to me it just feels like you're starting sentences and then starting new sentences on top of them.
I will concede that is a very important device, so you don't have to finish a sentence.
Yeah. That
I do often with it. Absolutely.
Okay.
But it does.
This is very interesting to find out how to do this.
Well, the lifeblood of this is cadence.
Yes.
Now, I am a sucker for cadence.
Me too.
You must be as an impressionist.
Yeah, you have to. Cadence it's very fun to mimic, very fun to figure out, very good for people at work that want to pretend they're busy. Learn cadence. So when someone walks by, you can do one of these fake conversations. And your superior.
So what you're pitching is masking.
Gulp, 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 gulp.
What I like is not needing to do it.
Explain further.
If I'm able to have a coworker come by and be like, oh, a little bit of caffeine. Do you ever see that in Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
And have to do that because I know the
Small
cadence. Talk. Right. What I would rather be on the same page with someone that knows that you're not going to be upset if I don't do it. I'm not going to be upset if you don't do it. But we could still connect like this. You walk by and you have the coffee and I go, I don't know. And then you can be like, and we still get to do the cadence of something that we recognize as a little give and take.
But we don't have to do the thing.
But we don't have to pretend.
Yeah.
And I don't think that going, I don't think that is nothing. I think that is real connection.
You think it's just a substitution. It's like a healthy substitution instead of faking it.
Yes.
It's an organic quality thing instead of
it takes all of the benefit from the thing, but letting you do it however you want.
Yeah.
But when you do that joke, in any sense where you're doing a joke to connect, not because your instincts are poor.
Sure.
But if the intention is to connect, oh, that's a joke. He's so weird. That's such a weird thing to do. Yeah, I guess, sure, on surface. But if we were on the same page, what we did was we acknowledged each other, which is what that is supposed to be.
Exactly.
We did it in a way where we connected on, oh, he said something that I understood I know it was something about coffee or the weather or the day. I get the genre he was doing, and he didn't have to say anything. We're now so present with each other.
Okay.
It still has a real call and response.
Yeah.
With the addition of playfulness, silliness, acceptance of one another.
But you're not taking it. You're not forcing the phony cadence and forcing the connection is what breaks the realness of the actual thing.
It's dishonest.
Yeah. Unless if you're like, well, you're fucking going over there.
Yes.
If you're like, are you gonna go get lunch? We're gonna go eat Applebee's. You go,
all the time when somebody says something to me, I think if the roles were reversed, I would laugh if I said, Did you have? And they just go.
I jokingly do that to my fiance. We do that to each other about very benign things.
Mm-hmm.
We'll she'll be like, "Hey, are we gonna get dinner with Alicia later this week?" I'll be like, "That's you. That's how you sound."
Mm-hmm.
And it's just she doesn't take it offensive. She knows I'm just joking.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
which is way more annoying.
But that's fun.
But that's what I hear. Sometimes when people are saying something that doesn't matter, I both hear the thing that doesn't matter, and I see the tip of the iceberg, and then I see the big thing that it's resting on, which is just. Have
you ever tried to break that up and a person is not receptive to it?
You mean
I was in Las Vegas, and you had to in the hotel I was staying in, you had to push the button of the floor on a screen, and then it would tell you which elevator to go to. They do that in a lot of office buildings.
I've seen this.
I pushed my floor. I saw the elevator. It was on the screen or whatever, and I got onto the elevator, and this guy was with his wife, and he was like, "Got to push your floor. You got to push your floor out there." But he didn't know that I already knew that I had done it and everything, so I was trying to explain to him, we don't have to do this. What he wanted from me was this very specific thing. He wanted me to go, "Oh, I'll do it in tone." He wanted me to go, "Oh, and instead,
I have to push the button. I thought I did it outside.
Yeah, and instead I gave him this. No, I did it, and he was like,
"I think there's something interesting here that you might be missing. You're so sure what he wanted was to be a superior of yours." Instead of just wanting to connect, like, hey, here's something I know, I want to offer value. Now, let me add another layer to that. What happened when I met you in the lobby and we got on the elevator?
There was a guy, a delivery guy with a bunch of bags.
Holding a lot of stuff.
And I said, let me get the button, and I hit the button wrong.
Well, his button was 4.
And I thought he said 1.
Well, we were on 1.
I know, and I didn't. I thought we were on like a lobby level or 1.
We were on 1 because 1 is the lowest. And what I realized was actually you were on 1 because you must have been. Because then we go all the way up to our floor, and he didn't get. And it was like, wait a minute, what about his?
Yeah.
And you're like, you're like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. And I took on the responsibility of saying he didn't do that on purpose, and I did something I don't like to do.
Wow,
I
appreciate
lied.
It.
I said I actually saw him push the button.
But I did push a button. So you didn't lie.
Well, 1, I didn't see you push a button. And 2, I said I saw him push your button.
But I'm letting you feel better
but
you didn't lie.
But that's lying. That's misleading.
No.
If I saw you push 1 when I'm implying that I saw him push 4, you might be a redneck. And that's all I got to say about that. And that's a cadence joke.
Yeah.
Everything is cadence.
It's all cadence.
It's all cadence. It's all cadence. So when we have something to say, it exists with cadence.
Yeah.
Now, how genuine you are with how self-aware you are, if everything you say, every sentence has 10 points, attribute points, to split between cadence and intention, okay? The more cadence driven you are, the less intention.
Yes.
It sounds like you're on the news.
Yes.
And I'm doing this
or baseball where they're like, "Hi, outside." That's going to be bald. Yeah. You're like, that's not.
Now, the baseball stuff, you're just saying data mostly.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be personality and emotions, you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you." Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Can you believe the home run? That's a grand slam.
I'm not believing you because when there's no emotion behind
and that's why the news sucks.
Now, I do think the purpose of that was to try and be as objective as possible and not to lead their emotions into.
Sure.
But nowadays, it's not even about proper coverage. It's not about proper information. It's not about 2 sources. It's about clickbait and titles.
Yeah. Clickbait and titles. So that can be the name of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Yeah. And then on the thumbnail, we'll have a picture of Ted Saransky and Noam Chomsky. And people will be like, wait a minute, what does this have to do with Disney? Like, what's happening here?
What the fuck? Then they watch this and they go, they were high. And then they go, that's why.
So my thought is, if you're subscribing to cadences that you didn't create.
Sure.
And now a lot of people will choose a cadence and they, listen, I see how this offers value by putting my head back and speaking in a way where you get to see all of me.
Or think about Seinfeld. You knew his cadence was going to be an observational joke because of the way he talked. The cadence. It's the cadence the whole time.
But if somebody else does that, it doesn't feel as genuine.
I know. It's the cadence. It's the cadence is the whole problem.
But also without cadence, there's no shorthand.
Zero. It's all, if you just talk like this, it's like no cadence.
Right. But if you just talk like this, you know the end of the sentence is about to be coming.
Yes.
So cadence serves a purpose, but let's just be aware of why. And with that comes the thing that was born from cadence. Rather, I was born in the darkness. You merely,
Let's not do that.
Okay.
Let's not ever do that again. Because I like it. I liked the effort, didn't like the cadence.
Oh, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the cadence is.
But you know what I was born in the darkness is from?
Yes, of course.
Could you do it?
Mr. Wayne, let us not stand on ceremony. I screwed that up. Let us not stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah,
Tom Hardy rules.
Yeah.
You think the darkness is your ally, but you've merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see light until I was a man, and by then I found it nothing but blinding. Yeah, that's when he fucks him up.
I was thinking that's around when Banaka would be okay with him.
Yeah, but
when he was a man.
You did not like me when I was a child. Even though I was white, you hated me for my energy. But now I'm a man. And you only hate black men. Racist Bane, but Bane with racist Banaka. I've been waiting for a dog, this racist and mean. Again, cadence. Just got to go
Cadence
up at the
is
end.
king.
Because that's when Batman attacks him and he blocks it. Because he's fucking his shit up that whole speech.
Wow, that was really good.
I was wondering what would break first. My childhood or your racism?
Yeah, or your spirit was in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Would it be cool to see Bane in a multicam, but him playing it in an otherwise?
What do you mean? I picked up the dry cleaning. You said your sister was. You merely picked up the dry cleaning.
No. I picked up the dry cleaning. You merely brought it in.
That's great.
I picked up and paid.
I picked up for the dry.
We had to be paid too. I picked up and paid for it. You merely dropped it off.
I love that. I paid.
Picked up and paid for the dry cleaning.
I picked up and paid for the dry cleaning. You merely picked it up.
No.
You merely dropped it off. There it is.
Yeah. Listen, you drop it off, I'll pick it up, and I'll pay.
Yeah.
I picked up and paid for the dry cleaning. You merely dropped it off.
I picked up. Bane, did you forget the dry cleaning? I paid for it. Picked it up. You merely dropped it off.
I mean, those are the right words, but that's not the right situation.
Oh, okay.
The right situation would be how Bane, we both do a lot of the housework, okay?
Oh, I mow the lawn. You merely dust.
No, do the dry cleaning one. It has to be about her thinking that she does as much as Bane, but she doesn't.
I dropped off.
Honey, Bane, we both do just as much work around the house.
I dropped off the laundry and paid for it.
You, Bane, I'm saying we did just as much. I dropped it off, and you're saying, yeah, but I picked it up and I paid for it. You merely dropped it off.
You've changed since the baby. You became a lot more opinionated. Why, merely, I've became tired. Dude, multicam Bane, I guess that is the lesson. The neighbors live next to you, but are also friends.
But we need more Bane quotes to turn them into multicam lines. I'm gonna look into some.
Once I mow the lawn, then you may die.
B-A-N-E?
Yeah, B-A-N-E. Originally based on the comic Nightfall and Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Mm. That's what Dark Knight Rises is based on.
Yeah. And did you know Mario, who is Italian and says "it's a me" instead of "it's me," isn't saying "it's a me, Mario"? It's "see me." It's Japanese for super.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's a me. It's a me. You fuck it. You're lying.
No.
Look it up.
素晴らしいです.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know, man. I think "it's me" is how you say superb in Japanese.
I think it was fun, though. I think I'm going to tell people that, even though we didn't really prove it. This has been a lot of fun. You're fun to get high with, dude.
Thanks, man. You know, I think I said it to you when we first podcasted, but you're really comfortable.
I appreciate that.
You are.
Yeah. I try to be comfortable. What's the point of life if you're going to be uncomfortable?
Yeah. Here, let me show you Wiggy Comfortable.
Whoa. Wiggerford.
That was does that make sense that it was coming on the table?
Yeah.
We'll mark it for animation. So I don't
Shot loads.
Hey, how come you get high every night, but I don't think of you as a stoner? I remember you told me you do get high, but I don't think of you as a stoner.
I don't know, because I think I am a stoner.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think as I get older, I'm doing it less, but I'm a stoner.
You like treats?
Love treats.
At nighttime when you're like, I have a sweet tooth, but I don't know what I want, is there a go-to?
I mean, if I'm being a real bad girl.
I remember us talking about the eating stuff now. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But go ahead if you're being a bad girl.
Van Leeuwen's ice cream. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very, very good, but I get fat. So I do the pure organic fruit bars.
Right. Still don't know what's in those.
Still don't know what's in it. Sometimes cereal, but milk's real bad for you that late. As I get older, I'm trying to find more sensible snacks.
I try and offset some of the foods I'm eating with higher protein foods. So when I do cereal, I take a huge scoop of almond butter for my spoon, and I put some an oat milk or an almond milk in, but not as much because I don't need it for everybody. Because then, and I get the cereal and the almond butter and every bite.
What cereal?
I don't remember the name of it, but it's the only cereal I found that it's a gluten-free cereal with like only a few ingredients. It's like one of the healthy ones, but it's like because there's a little bit of sugar in it, but it's still like relatively like.
I'd like to find out what that is.
I'll put it up here and I'll let you know. Once I go home, I'll see it. It's you've seen it before.
Okay.
But that and I get usually a no salt almond butter because I like a Milton's, like a flake salt. Am I saying right? Is it Milton's the salt I'm thinking of? Morton's, thank you. Thick, big pieces of flake salt. It does something to me.
All right.
It's like when you only eat a pretzel and you're like, oh, the salt is so good.
Yeah.
You're never eating Chinese food and being like, I love the salt. It's just part of it adds and helps you with the flavoring.
Sure.
But the actual flaky salt is like a treat. So I add that on top. So not only does it give me the salted nut butter, it also adds some flavoring to the other stuff.
I like that idea. It sounds good.
I'm big into hot pastries a la mode.
What kind of hot pastries are you talking about?
Well, we'll bleep this. I think I told you about this before, but has these unbelievable cronuts. Just bleep the name of the place. Although, incidentally, I'm going to tell you another place, so maybe we don't have to bleep, that I want to know if you've heard of, because they had so many treats that I talked to the owner that I told him this idea that I want to have, where there's so many treats and I want to try so many. I'm like, I want to get one of every treat, 20 different treats, and do like a taste test of them.
I like that.
And he gave me his number, and I think, I'm not going to ask him to pay me for it, but like, if I'll take one of every treat for free, because each treat is between $3.50 and $6.
That's a great.
Alessio's is what it's called. Do you know them?
No.
Croissants, incredible.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm curious about all their other things.
Okay.
In fact, this morning I ordered from there 2 croissants, one chocolate, one non-chocolate. I could heat up right now the regular one. If you want to, we'll mute it. But
I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta head back in to the city. I forgot that it's traffic time.
Me wanting to have friends as a kid when they come over for a second and be like, well, stay for a minute. I'd love to give you some of these croissants. Like, I'll heat it up. Really, it'll take 2 minutes. You could even take it to go.
Yeah.
Anything you want to plug?
DanSoder.com. I'm on the road a lot.
Put up your date, Star Wars style. No, slower.
Oh, slower. When is this coming out?
Honestly,
November?
Yeah.
So I got a podcast coming out called Soder.
Is it just you?
Yeah, it's me and a guest. You'll be on it.
Is it out right now as of time of us recording?
I don't know. I'm going to try to get it out at the beginning of November, but it's a very short 30-minute podcast. I'm
going to call your Uber while we're doing this.
Oh, dude, I was going to call one.
Please. Thank you for coming. Could continue.
Yeah. But DanSoder.com. I have Royal Oak Theater coming up, Buckhead Theater in Atlanta, Paramount in Philly, and then a late show at the Red Bank at the Vogel in Red Bank, New Jersey. DanSoder.com. I'm going to be on the road a lot. All of November, most of December, DanSoder.com, and then yeah.
Brilliant. Calling the Uber. Now do me a favor, because I need to make a fake Polaroid out of this because I don't have it. Could you just look to your camera and smile like it's a Polaroid? And then also, why don't you come over here in case we do a thumbnail together real quick?
Love it. Let me shoot.
Okay, fantastic. Let's get you downstairs. Love you, buddy. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy.